Hi y'all, this is Regina. I thought I would share some basics on how to create decorative fills for those of you that have Palette 11 or PE Design 11. It's really not hard. Have your software open. Mine is Palette 11 that I'm using. You want to have this stitch view clicked, not your realistic, but your stitch view, and I'll show you in a moment why you want to have that. Now go over here to options on the top right, select options, Programmable Stitch Creator. Now if you have clip art and that's what you'll want, or a drawing that you've done, that's all you need to do. If you're an artist and you can draw, more power to you. I wish I could. But you want to have it accessible on your computer or your laptop. So I have gone to the internet and downloaded a copy of an ornament, some clip art of an ornament. So you want to go to your View tab, click Open Template, and go to where you have saved your ornament. And this is the ornament that I'm going to use. So I click it and say Open. Now I need to resize it, and if it's too big for your screen that you can't resize it, you'll have to open something like Paint, Microsoft Paint, and go to File, Open, and go to where you have your clip art. So let me see, mine's in here, and you would have to resize it. So I could resize this, say 50%, and then save it. Okay, so all I did was come up to the Home tab, resize, highlighted that, and typed 50 and hit OK, and it downsized it. So now I've saved it. So when I go back over to, I'm going to delete this. So when I go back over to Programmable Stitch Creator and I go to View, Open Template, and I select my ornament, it comes in a lot smaller. Alright, so now I'm going to resize this up to where I think it will fit. I'm going to go down a little bit, and I'm going to come up a little bit. I should have used the corners. There we go. Alright, so let me redo this down to the bottom because I want it all the way at the bottom. Alright, so now all you're going to do is click around it. You don't have to have a path planned out, and I'm going to show you why. So I like to get started, to use a window that has no dots or squares or anything on it. So I go up here and on the View tab, I click off the With Axis, I click it off, and I bring this slider all the way to the left. So that gives me a blank and I can really see it. So now I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to grab the Draw Line tool, and I'm just going to click. And you don't want to click too far apart, but just click, 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 click all the way around. Okay. And right now we're not connecting any points. Now I do try to click where I know I'm going to have some points, and I missed a couple, so I'll have to go back in a minute. I'm not going to do the chain. So I'm just going to keep clicking around, and I'm going to follow underneath the cap, and then when I get back around the other way to the other side where I started, I'm going to double click off. Alright, so now I'm going to go to the View tab, and I'm going to take off some of this view. I'm going to make it lighter by clicking this up here on the top left. Click this little slider down. See how it lightens up? So now I can see the line that I just drew, and you see, let me zoom in. So to zoom in, you go to Home and you click this little magnifying glass, and then put it where you want to start, and drag, hold the mouse button and drag and let loose. So now I can see that those points aren't connected. So I'm going to, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave those off because I want to demonstrate something. All right, so we're leaving that off. Let me back out of this just a little bit. All right, so now I want to draw this cap. I'm purposely not going to click right down on the line. I'm going to click right off the line because I want you to see something. And then when I get to where I'm done, I'm going to double click. And then let me do this view, get a little bit. All right, so then we've got this little loop that we're going to do. And in order to get it more rounded, you just take closer, you click your points down closer together, okay, and double click to stop. All right, so I'm going to save this as File. I'm going to go up here to this little stitch looking circle and say File, Save As. Okay, make sure that it says PLF down here. And when you started, remember you went File, New Decorative Fill Pattern. All right, so File, Save As, and we're going to call it Ornament Sample. Now, I just saved it someplace I didn't want to save it. So let me go File, Save As. I saved it in my folder where my sample clip art was, and I don't want it to be there. I want it to be in my patterns folder where my software is. Now mine I always load at the root drive. I don't let it put it anywhere else. I don't know where yours might be, but you'll have to search for your patterns folder. So find your Palette 11 folder on your hard drive, double click it, and you want to get to the pattern folder and double click. So now I've got this ornament, and I'm just going to rename it Ornament Sample because I want to go and take this off maybe. All right, so we've drawn our little ornament, and I want to add these little swirls. So I'm purposely not going to connect them to the dots. Well, I'll try. All right, so I click up there where the line is, and I'm just going to click around. And if you click somewhere where you don't want it, hit your right mouse button and it unclicks. So if I click, and that's not where I want it to be, I click my right mouse button and it lets go. Okay, so we're just going to click around. I use my scroll button to scroll down, click around, and just click around. So right here, it intersects. So I want to click in the middle. Click, and click in the middle, and click. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down and click, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click. All right, so let me take this color off a little bit more. All right, so it looks like maybe it connected here. All right, so now we want to get this other one. So we're going to click, and just click until we get all the way. Scroll up with your mouse button. When you're not clicking, I can scroll up and down with my mouse button. Okay, and we're going to come over here and we're going to double click. Okay, so I'm going to purposely double click just the other side of the line. And I'm going to do some clicking because I purposely am not clicking where you should because I want you to see something. Okay, so clicking around. And like I said, the closer that you click your points, the more round you can make it. So I'm clicking, let's see, undo, click. Okay, so we're going to come around here, and I'm going to try to get right on the line here. Alright, so we're going to try to get it on the line here and click and keep coming all the way around. And I'm just doing some quick clicking, so I'm just going to do some more quick clicking. I'm going to click a little past that. Okay. And we're just going to keep going until we get, I really want to connect that right here, but I'm going to click a little below it. Alright, so we've got one, let's see here. We've got one to come down here, so it looks like this one runs back around off of this one. So I'm going to click here and come down. And as you can tell, I'm not worried about my path. Okay, so you should worry more about whether or not your points meet up. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go File, Save. So let's go back over to PE Design. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to create a box. Go to the home screen, go to your shapes, and I'm just going to create a square. Okay. I'm going to click off the zigzag around the edge and I'm going to go up to here and I'm going to click Decorative Stitch, and then I'm going to, that's default, I'm going to go here because I've set up some folders underneath my pattern, so when I'm creating my decorative fills, I know where they all are, like if I'm doing a whole bunch of ornaments or Christmas stuff or whatever, blah 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 blah. But I know that this one I put in my pattern folder. Didn't I? I think I did. And I called it ornament. Let me scroll down. So I have already moved some of mine over, but there it is, ornament sample. Alright, so I'm going to click that and it brings it in. Now you see all these dotted lines? That means that something is not connected. So it's going to stitch all these dotted lines. And that's using this view. So if you worked on this view, everything looks like, oh, hey, that's great. That looks like it's going to stitch wonderful. It's not until you click here that you see, no, that's not going to work, because when I stitch it, let me make this 6.0. Now I use inches. So you can see there's lines here. So let's see what happens. So if I drag this around to simulate a fast stitch, like the fastest on the machine, now I'm going to slow it down because it's going to jump up in the middle. So, and when I want them to purposely connect, they do, and when I don't want them, they don't, and when I do want them to not connect, they connect. So look at there. They're all connecting. Oh my gosh, really? Okay, so something isn't connecting, and I know where it is. I'm backing up, and I know that that one right there, that's not connecting. Let's see here. I can't believe all those that I didn't connect, that I purposely did not connect. So let's see where it's going to go jump. Okay, so it came up here to jump because something isn't connected. So let's go back. I'm going to use press down my Alt key and tap the Tab button, and that takes me back over to my Programmable Stitch Creator. So I'm going to put this down a little bit lighter so I can see, and I know that this isn't connected and this isn't connected and that's not connected. Alright, so I want to connect those. So I'm going to get my select point, and I want to make sure that, well, let's do this one first. So we want to drag this point and I want to put it on top of that point. Now if I had this go to view, and if I had with axis and I did this, it would have little squares on it. And if you grab your magnifying glass and go in, you can see where those little squares intersect. But that's not intersecting where I want it to. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to put it right there. So now all those points intersect. So this one wasn't intersecting, but you see this? Well, I can live with it up there. So I'm going to put that up there. And then I'm going to click this one and I'm going to drag it right there because it's right on the corner. Okay, so now we got to do something with this one. So let's put it up here. See how it just jumps? It's because we have this right here done up here at the top where my mouse is. Alright, so now we want to grab this and we want to put it somewhere that it intersects. Well, I can see that right here was the closest point to where I was, and it does intersect right there. Alright, so it connected, so I'm going to move this a little bit. And that looks like it's sitting on something, but I'm going to move it. Oh, it was? No, it wasn't. Alright, so, well, it looks like it's going to sit somewhere. Alright, so also, as I can see as I'm in here, this doesn't connect. So I want to move this to connect right there, and I'm going to grab that and make sure it's right in the corner. Alright, so let's scroll down with your mouse button and just check these. So I'm going to move that to go right there. That one looks like it's connected. This one looks like it's connected. Now I know these are kind of straight, but let's just work at one thing at a time. So I'm going to grab this point, click on the line, and I'm going to grab this point and I want to put it right at the lowest point because I want this to touch the very bottom so that it has some place to connect to. You know what, and I think I'm going to move that right there. Alright, and then we have this one down here. So I'm going to click and put a point, and then I'm going to drag it right there so that matches. Alright, so let's go home and select full screen, or that's what I call it. And I'm going to take off this axis so I can make some things a little more curvy. Alright, so I'm going to go home and I'm going to come back in here. It actually looks pretty good, except maybe right here. So I got my magnifying glass, remember? Take your magnifying glass and put it down close to where you want to zoom in on and make a box around it, and it zooms in for you. Alright, so let's click here and put a point and kind of soften this little sharp edge. And then let's see here. Let's bring that in. And we're going to bring this in, and we're going to bring that in. And I think we're going to bring that in just a little bit. And then we've got some sharp edges here, so let's soften that. And I'm going to soften that. And I'm going to soften this. And definitely need to do something about this. So let's see here. If you put a point where you don't want it, go up and click on it and then hit delete. Alright, so I'm going to go out this way just a little bit. And I'm going to bring that, and I'm going to put another point right there just to kind of soften that up. Okay, so let's put a point here. So we're going to click and put a point and drag it out. I think I'm going to put one there. And I'm scrolling up with my mouse button. Alright, let's go full screen. Alright, so let's save that and see what happens. We're going to go up to the top to the little ball that has little stitches in it, and hit save. Now I'm going to hold my Alt key down, my Alt button on my keyboard, and tap, T-A-P, the Tab, T-A-B button, and it'll take you back over here. So now we have to choose this again. So we want to go home, get the select tool, make sure you've got your bounding boxes around your square, go back over here to the decorative fill, and I know this is at the bottom, so I'm going to click it, and that's still not, that didn't help. So what are we missing here? So let's make it stitch, and usually when it's not connected, it shows you at the end what isn't connecting. Alright, so it jumped over to that little thing at the top. So hold your Alt button down and tap the Tab button. Ah, looky here. There it is, right there. It's not connected. So grab your select point tool, come up here, and let's see here. Let's see. Let me do this. And oh, we just lucked out because look at that. So we're going to do that. Alright. So while we're here, let's take this off. Come up here and uncheck your axis and bring this back down so we can get more of a curve. Kind of soften it up. Because as long as that is checked up there, you have to go right where that point tells you to go. You can't go any place different. Okay, so let's soften that up a little bit. This looks like it's connected. That looks like it's connected. All right, we're going to go File, Save. We're going to Alt Tab, and we're going to do the same thing. Select tool, click, go back over here, and find your fill again and say okay. Ah, look at that. So now we have a start. It looks like something is messed up, but I can't really tell. So let's make it stitch real fast. It had this one jump to start. Okay. So you've got this is where your needle is. It starts and goes up here and it starts. So you've got to tie off there. And that's what I call it. And it jumps back up there in the center. Okay, so our design doesn't take up the whole screen. So if you want it to, let's see, you want to go up to View, and we want to completely get rid of the design in the background. So now we want to make this thing touch all the way at the top, all the way at the bottom. So get your select key, click, and you want to select everything and drag this up. Alright, so if you want it to connect on the sides also, you need to go for something that goes from here to the side. Now you've got these little centering points here and here, and if you click it, it puts up a little blue line. So you've got all these different areas that you can click, and you can click in between these. It doesn't have to be there. And to get them off, you come back up, you get that little mark right like that double arrow, and just click and they go away. Alright, so if we want to connect it from side to side, let's do it this way first. So let's go File, Save, Alt Tab, back to your layout and editing, click and get your little handles around there, bounding box, and go and grab your design again. Well, what happened to it? Did I click off? Let's see here. There it is. Okay. And it is still got something going on because it should only have one line. So let's see here. I don't think it's connecting top and bottom all the way. No, it's not. Alright, so let's do this. Let's rotate this. Let's make it a little bit smaller. We're going to get your select tool and drag it out all the way around and make it just a little bit smaller and rotate it. Rotate it until it's standing upright. Now you could draw a line, you know, to make it work. All right, so now let's drag it all the way out. Grab your little handles and go all the way out with it. Okay, so this one, I notice this is really pointy down here. I don't particularly care for that. See how pointy it is? So I'm going to get my select point tool and I'm going to click right there. And I'm going to drag this down, but I got to drag this too. And try to get it right on that line. And then I'm going to click off and I'm going to click on that line. I'm going to click there just to make sure. Okay, let's soften this. Okay, and let's soften this. Alright, and let's soften this. Okay, so we're just going to soften that a little bit. Alright, File, Save. Go back over to Layout Editing, hit your Alt-Tab, and if you have more than one window open, you can go from one window to the next window to the next window to the next window by hitting that Tab. But you don't want to hold it down, because if you do, that's what happens. Tap, tap. All right, so now let's see. Did I save that when we were over there? File, say yes, I did. All right. So let's grab this again. Let's see, where it is. There it is. Okay. Ah, looky there. Now that we got that to where it's all the way at the top, now everything is connected. So if I take and go over here to your decorative fill in your sewing attributes, and let's put in a 2.63. All right, so now I have a row of ornaments, and I can rotate them around to go this way. I can make it a little bit smaller, 2.53. Okay, or let's just go to 2.4 and see what that does. Okay, and make sure your run pitch is around 12. You can go anywhere from 10 to 12, 10 to 14 maybe. I like to go about 10 or 12. All right, so now if I wanted it all really large, 6.50, let's say. Oh, okay, not 19, 6.50. So come back up to your sewing attributes and type in how big you want it to be. And it can go to 7.50. And you can also, let's put it back down to 6.25. You can also come up here to your select tools, grab this point, and see this little point right here. And if I move it around, see what happens if I move it. I can put the center of it wherever I want. Let's see what happens if I put it over here. So I can get two ornaments almost in the picture. And if I make this 5.50, okay, so now I can have them a little bit bigger and move it until I kind of have them where I want them in there. So I've got that design. So you can do so much with these decorative fills and change them up so much. So let's go back over to the Programmable Stitch Creator. I'm going to go back here. So we've got it saved in this orientation. So let's take it and draw a box around it, and let's make it this way. Alright, so I'm going to I'm going to tilt it till it's kind of lined up with my corners, and I want to raise it up. See, this is the center. See, this is my center here, and this is my center here. So I'm going to, while it's selected, I'm going to get the 4 little arrows, and I'm going to click my mouse button down, and then I'm going to move it to where it's centered. So let's give it a little different look. Let's go from here. I'm just going to go all the way down because I want that turned around. Okay, so I gotta rotate that some more. So let's select it. Now I just clicked off with the mouse so that it would not stitch there or put a line there. So I'm going to get my line tool, drawing line again, and I'm going to show you. So I wanted a straight line there. Whoops. Double click at the end. Okay. And I want a straight line here. I don't want to try to figure it out myself. Okay. Come on. Double click. So, come on. Double click. There we go. Alright. So I need to make sure this is right in that corner. And this one is, and that one is. Alright, so now I'm going to put a point right there, and I'm going to say split point, and then I'm going to put a point here, and split point, and I'm going to put one here, and split point, I'm going to put one here, and split point. Now, I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to delete it. I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to delete it. So now we're going to save this as save as, I'm going to call it ornament 2. Ornament 2. Alright, so now when I go back over to my layout and editing, and I scroll down to find my ornament 2, which should be right by the other one. Okay, where did it go? All the way at the bottom? Was it all the way at the bottom? Yes. Okay, so here's my ornament 2. Alright, so now I've got a completely different look. Let's put this on the straight. Make it 0 over here on the direction. Delete 0. Okay. So now it's at 0. Now I have an issue, and I don't know why. Why do I have that issue? Okay, so that started. Maybe one of those points didn't get anchored down. So now I need to find out what is going on. So it looks like maybe one of those points, whenever I twisted it, it came loose, which I've had that happen a lot. Oh, look at this. This one's not meeting up right where it belonged. Alright, so I'm going to do that. That one meets up. So let's just check these. Okay, so that one. I'm putting a little point right where those lines meet. I found this. That helps. And this needs to be moved up. So sometimes when you rotate things, I think it's a flaw, and they need to do something with it. See, this came loose. That one was connected. So I'm going to click. I'm going to put a point there, and I'll move it right on top of it. I'm going to put a point there. Alright, so let's save, and let's try that again. Get your select tool, click on it. You want to know that it is selected. Go back over here and grab that. Let's see if that helps. So that helped a little bit, but something is still not right. So let's see if we can figure out what it is. Alright. Watch it as it goes. stitches and comes down to the end, because that's where I found that I'm going to slow it down and see where it goes, where it jumps. So where is that? So it's right here. Something, I don't know exactly where that is, so that must be one of the lines that we added. Yeah, that's at one of the lines. Alright, so let's do this. Go back over, it's one of these lines. I'm going to turn this axis right here for the points. I'm going to turn it back on. Alright, so let's move that right there. And then see when the line is pink, that's what you have selected. I'm going to put that there. And then this line, I'm going to connect right there. And I'm just going to I'm going to move this point right there. Alright, so maybe that will do it. File, save, Alt Tab back to Layout and Editing. Select this. And go back and grab this revised design. Say okay, and it didn't help. What is going on? So this point, let's see here. I know, let's do this. Let's do let's see, let's select it and go to 6.00. Sometimes having it bigger helps, but that's too big. 5.00. Alright, so let's see here. It looks like it's connecting, but let's see what this does as it gets over here to the end. Let's see where it goes. Man, it looks like it's connecting. Alright, so this is, it's just part of the trying to figure out. Let's go 3.50, and it's going back up here. Something is wrong at the top, but I can't figure out what it is. It's still on that. Alright, so let's see here. Do I not have any? Oh, I think I know. Alright, so it's wanting something here to connect. And I bet you if I put lines across here, everything's going to be hunky-dory. So let me go across here. And double click. And then click and double click. I just don't like the way that looks. So let's see here. I'm going to get our point select tool, come out here, grab this line and come out here. Alright, so let's go File, Save, and go back over here. Get your select tool, make sure that's selected, get your ornament. Sorry about that, folks. Alright, so let's just see. So this is just part of the process. Alright, so let's make it smaller. 2.63. And now we have one line. So that's the process you have to go through back and forth to get it to where you only have one line. Everything else is connected, and you don't have any jumps and a tie off where it starts and a tie off where it ends. And so now it's stitching until it's finished or you run out of thread. Okay, so that's how you can go through. You do not have to figure a path on this stuff. You just connect the dots. When I say dots, I mean these dots. If I took this axis off, it would just be dots. See? So you're connecting the dots. All right. Alrighty, I hope that helps some of you that are starting. Good luck. Have fun. Enjoy. Bye.